Hello, this is Danny Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. With 4.0.1 inching slowly towards having the 4.0 branch finally become playable, it seems to be an odd time to be talking about buying ships. Yet, here we have it, the In Case You Missed It sale, because it is January. And January is when the In Case You Missed It sale happens, because if it didn't, then it would get in the way of the Coremore sale in February. So, we might as well talk about it and talk in general about ship buying plans. The In Case You Missed It sale is a return of availability of all the ships launched in the prior year, 2023. And despite the heavily FOMO-inducing title, it is not your last chance to buy these ships. It isn't even your last chance you will have in 2025. So first, let's talk about the hierarchy of ship sales from CIG. Then let's talk about how a thoughtful person might go about planning their fleet, and then what that thoughtful person might take advantage of during this In Case You Missed It sale. There are ships that are available for sale every day of the week and every week of the year. These include a lot of the standard starter package ships as well as a few of the real workhorses of the verse like the Freelancer and the Cutlass. They are priced at what CIG calls ship value, which is the automotive industry equivalent, the MSRP, manufacturer's suggested retail price. And they come with 6 months insurance included, which is promised to actually become significant someday soon. Then there are what we might call event sales, holiday sales, new release sales, and this In Case You Missed It sale. These make available ships that aren't part of the always available set, but also have the same 6 months insurance, although I will get to one exception in this sale, and they are sold at MSRP. But they are often sprinkled in some Warbond deals. These are limited time prices less than MSRP, but only if you use new money and not store credit. The thing is, you can always trade any ship you like and get back what you paid for it in store credit. This is commonly called melting. But you also can upgrade your ship to a more expensive ship called buying a CCU by spending the difference between their MSRPs. But you didn't spend the MSRP on the Warbond ship, you spent less. Moreover, when you offer a Warbond sale, they usually offer the same price on upgrades, called a Warbond CCU. So what your clever buyers will do, they combine a whole bunch of Warbond upgrades, one after the other, each slightly more expensive than the one prior, and then when all these little 5s and 10s and 15s and 20s are added up, they're buying a hundreds of dollars ship for considerably less. And an important thing to know about upgrades is that when upgrading, whichever insurance is the longest, either the original ship or the upgrade, will be kept after upgrading. But all that, of course, presumes that buying a hundreds of dollars ship was the right choice in the first place, for which we'll be talking in a second about fleet planning. But there is the third type of sale, the expos. The Invictus Launch Week Expo is in the summer, and the IAE Expo is in the fall. The summer event concentrates on military ships, and the fall event concentrates on civilian ships. And between the two of them, all but the most limited of ships will be for sale with 10-year insurance rather than the 6 months. So then there is one final thing to consider. When a ship is available for the very first time, it is sold with lifetime insurance, which, while in practice is not that different from 10-year insurance at the expos, it's still considered the best. Which brings us to the second topic, fleet planning, which is basically two things: where you want to go and how do you want to get there. What ultimately do you want to be in the verse? What is the archetype that you are trying to follow? Do you want to join up with a large group of like-minded players and be part of the large things that group wants to accomplish? Fleet battles, star bases, factories, etc. You may be a small cog in a big machine, but what a magnificent machine. Kind of like the characters in Star Trek's Lower Decks. But you don't really need that much of a fleet yourself. Though even the largest organizations will still need shuttles, escort fighters, and logistics crafts of various sizes, so your personal ship will not be useless. But you won't need a whole fleet of your own. That's what you're joining the organization for. Or maybe your archetype is more of the independent operator, a Han Solo who wants to be their own boss and set their own path. So you want ships that are still, so forgive the pun, soloable, needing some fairly expensive ships, but not the largest ones. Or maybe you want to be the big hog in the big machine, the Captain Picard archetype with that huge ship in a big org fleet. Maybe you even want your archetype to be the leader of the entire space station building org, the fantastically wealthy industrialist. Those big ambitions will also need big ships and maybe more than one of them. So having thought about where you want to go, watch about the ships that will take you there. And I encourage you to think about them in 3 types of ships. The first are foundational ships. These are essential to your growth path and are likely to continue to be useful as you go along. These, particularly those most essential when bouncing back from wipe or setback, are the best candidates for buying from the pledge store. The second are stepping stone ships. In other words, they're an intermediate step in getting from one ship to the next, but once I have that other ship, I'm unlikely to want to use them again. So if they are available, the best route for a stepping stone ship is actually to rent them. Then the third category are the goal ship. These are ships that you are aspiring to. So if your goal is to have your very own 890 luxury yacht in the game, the last thing you want to do is go and buy your goal ship with the cash because, well, then it can't be your goal anymore, can it? Always reserve something to be your goal ship or ships in the game. Which leads us back around to the ship sale, the in case you missed it. Is there anything noteworthy, particularly since there will certainly be other and perhaps better opportunities later in the year to buy the same ships? Well, the first is that we are still inside the launch sale of the Guardian and Guardian QI. So although everything else will only have 6 months insurance, the Guardian still has lifetime. Something to bear in mind if you want to have or might include them in your CCU chain to something even bigger. And the second thing is that there are quite a few ships in this sale with Warbond deals and Warbond CCUs. So if you're looking to build a new CCU chain to an expensive ship or to improve a current upgrade chain, there might be something worth picking up for that purpose. Specifically, there are Warbond upgrades to the Retaliator and the Zeus, both of those at $160 rather than $175 ship value. There are Warbond upgrades for the Sabre Firebird or Peregrine at $170 instead of $185, and the Hornet and Mark II Tracker or Ghost for $165 instead of $185. Yes, the Hornet II's Warbond deals have more off than the Sabres. The Terrapin Medic Warbond upgrade is $200 instead of $220. The Starlancer Max is $225 instead of $250, while the Guardian is $230 instead of $250, and the Guardian QI is $240 instead of $260. The Carrack is $560 instead of $600, and the topmost end of the whole scale is the Polaris Warbond is $850 instead of $975. But there is that fleet planning question. Do you really want to buy the Polaris or ship that size at all? Now the update for the giveaways. First, we have our special giveaway for the captains of dual VKB Gladiator joysticks coming along nicely. And then there is the annual IAE Week giveaway next year for the serious shiny stainless steel shipping ship, the Starlancer Max. And then the Grow the Channel ship giveaway at 20,000 subscribers for the winner's choice of the marvelous multi-role multiplayer mining meta, the Arasta, or the Banu Big Box Bargain Bazaar, the Merchantman. 1 entry per video. Members are entered automatically. Everyone else just subscribe and comment with the secret word. And the secret word for this video is the type of ship you never buy with real-world money. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Danny Raymond for Ray's Guide.